could you give me a 5 minute, a 4 minute, a 3 minute, a 2 minute, a 1 minute countdown? That's what the note said.
Where am I plugging this into?
Countdown into what though?
To the end of the show.
Oh, the end of the show? Absolutely.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Or even a 2 minute. 2 minutes is
Am I-
fine.
Am I in a right
Yeah.
input?
That's what he told me. I'm just following directions. Not asking for special
And you have
treatment.
Hassan on the phone.
You got Hassan on? Alright, cool.
You guys ready?
Jen,
Not yet?
before I put a volume up on it,
Hold on. Charlie, are you ready?
Oxfam will fight inequality to create a future of
Okay.
equal rights and equal treatment so that everyone
Ready?
can thrive, not just survive. At oxfamamerica.org, learn how you can offer
Ready?
life-saving
Okay.
Yeah.
Stand by.
crises right now.
You got your headphones?
Yep.
You got
Ready?
your headphones on?
Yep. Good to go.
Long term. Together, let's make equality a
you look great.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Glad you're here.
This is WGBB AM 1240 and W2.0 TFFM 95.9
Let's have fun.
Freeport, New York.
The views expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent those of the staff, management, or owners of WGBB.
The following is brought to you in part by MFC Studios. The views of the show's host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management, owners, or staff of this radio station. And now,
What's that?
it came from the radio.
No, same group, just different people. The same show, just done with different people. Yeah. You guys ready? So we can go right in there. What am I supposed to do with it? No, I don't want it. I don't want it. What am I supposed to do with it? Put it up, put it in the box. Seal it. Seal it up.
You're listening to It Came From the Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Comic Con. The Big Apple Con! Sorry, Mark. This is Jennifer Elise Feldman. We're going to make some mistakes today. I'm here with Charles Saladino
Hey.
and on the line, Hassan Godwin. Welcome, guys. On this week's show, we have a new Jaybird and Lee segment. At Trek Long Island, convention correspondent Stephanie Lombardo interviews author Nicholas Parisi, and Jenny Feldy interviews filmmaker and musician Cosmic Punch's Juan Punchy Gonzalez. But before we do that, we gotta take it away with the news. The news is brought to you in part by Sci-Fi.radio, that's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi, as well as the Big Apple Con, of which we are the official show of celebrating 28 years of pop culture and comic book stuff. For more information, go to www.bigapplecc.com. Their next convention is scheduled for November the 23rd, and tickets are on sale now. Also, we want to give a shout out to our Patreons, of which are Danny Grell, award-winning director, Jared Burrell, Kyle Horn, Millie Portez, Newsday famous, Dresden Media, Onji Kun, Shadow Rabbit Art, Yasmin and Ray, Rosa, and the Hurricane. If you want your own shout out, go to our website, www.itcamefromtheradio.com, and on there you'll find a button to take you right to our Patreon page. Also on the It Came From the Radio website is Mark's comic book Designated, which is about two warring alien races fighting over a newly discovered power source. The war finds its way to Earth, and some humans gain abilities as a result. Issue 1 is on sale now, and Issue 2 is in pre-orders. Alright, let's start off with the sad news. You ready, Charlie?
I'm ready, Jen.
Alright, here we go. Okay.
That is sad.
Isn't it sad?
It's sad.
Actor and stand-up comedian Bob Newhart also died recently after a short illness. There was 142 episodes of the Bob Newhart Show, 184 episodes of Newhart, 33 episodes of Bob, the comic book series, and he was 94.
Yeah, great guy. Great. He was basically a legend in the comic world.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that, are you going to miss him, Bob Newhart?
Yes, I am. He was, not only he was all through my time, but he even crossed over with the Big Bang Theory, you know, and he just was funny to all audiences. And the best part I like about his series, it had one of the best endings ever. He had the Bob Newhart Show, which was with Suzanne Pleshette. He played a psychiatrist.
A psychotic?
Rented
A lot of
lives.
psychiatrists are a little psychotic.
Rented lives, sorry. So then he went to the next series, which was the Bob Newhart show. He had a bed and breakfast, and there was all crazy characters. the last show that they did, the season finale, at the end, he wakes up in bed next to Suzanne Plachette.
Right.
So it was all a dream from his first show.
Oh.
So it was like the greatest ending.
Oh,
And the last line is Suzanne says, "You gotta stop eating Japanese food before you go to bed."
Hassan, well, what are you gonna do now that Bob Newhart is no longer on the Earth plane?
I don't know, I'm gonna cry a little bit. There was never, as far as I'm concerned, there was never a time when there wasn't a Bob Newhart show on television.
Yes.
From the time I grew up until now. So it's pretty tremendous that we lost him. And it's very sad. Charlie, do you remember the radio play that he did about, I don't remember what it's called. It's about a submarine that was returning from a long mission, and it's just like a simple monologue, but it's absolutely brilliant. I don't remember the name of it. But I remember listening to it.
Yeah. I don't remember it, but he did his best work like that. He did, like, you could give him a phone and he could be on the phone talking to some imaginary person, and it would be the funniest thing. So I can imagine how funny that submarine thing was.
Yeah, I will try to find it for you. I mean, it's not going to do our audience any good. I'll mention it next week.
Yeah.
But I'll try to find it for you and send it. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's too bad that we lost him.
Yeah.
I mean, 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good run. That's a very good run. But that's
Yeah.
still sad for us. Good for him, sad for us.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for the sad news, and I'm
Oh.
supposed to live till 96 according to 2 psychics. So let's switch departments from That's a Lot of Nuts department. The new Twister sequel has taken the #1 spot in the domestic box office, pulling in $80.5 million in ticket sales in its first week of release, beating out the Despicable Me sequel, #4, which came in at #2 spot, making an additional $23.8 million in its third week of release. For those of you keeping track, I'm not, Inside Out 2 is still the highest grossing film of this year so far, with $596.3 million, followed by Dune Part 2 at $282.1 million. Twister comes in at #15. Are you guys keeping track of any of this? Have you seen any of these movies? Dune, Twister?
Well, I have to say, absolutely not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a Twister sequel. You saw Twister? What do you think?
I think it's a movie about kids facing a tornado, which I probably the dumbest profession I've ever heard of in my life, but it's real. It happened. I don't think the movie, to me personally, was as good as the I think it's 1996 movie with Bill Paxton. And it's not a direct sequel. It's just kind of a sequel in spirit. Because it doesn't even mention the characters from the previous film.
Yeah, where's Helen Hunt?
She's not in it. Nobody's in it. None of them are in it. None of them are mentioned. However, if you like movies about people chasing computer-generated windstorms, then you'll love it. It's brilliant.
Do you think they were all computer generated? It wasn't real? It wasn't real?
Or Memorex.
No,
I don't know.
None of them are real.
Oh.
Really, no. I know it's a controversial opinion.
Yeah.
But none of those storms were real.
Oh, I was gonna watch it just for the storms. Like, weather.com is obviously a lot more realistic than. Maybe weather.com makes fake storms too. I don't know.
Do you think they just try to get people prepared for the worst?
A question about this Dune movie. So Dune Part 2, what's all the hype about this movie?
Dune.
282.1 million. Is it worth seeing?
I know.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Hassan.
Why should we see this
I
movie?
mean, if you're a science fiction fan, yeah. If
Okay.
you saw the first one,
Mhm.
yes. If you read the book, yes. If none of things attribute to you, then no, give it.
All right.
If you don't like long movies, then it's a long movie.
All right, speaking of long, let's move on to the next segment from the maybe this wasn't a good idea after all department. None other than New Line Cinema has announced that Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 2, will not be releasing in theaters on August 16th anymore, so you can free up your August 16th, everyone. Executives say Territory Pictures and New Line Cinema have decided not to release Horizon Chapter 2 on August 16th in order to give audiences a greater opportunity to discover the first installment of Horizon over the coming weeks, including on premium video on demand and Max. We thank our exhibition partners for their continued support as moviegoers across the U.S. discover the film in its theatrical run. The audience response to Horizon and enthusiasm for seeing our story continue in Horizon 2 has been incredibly gratifying. Kevin made this film for people who love movies and wanted to go on a journey. The support that we have received from film fans and the theater owners as they experience the first chapter of this saga only serves to reinforce our belief in them and the films that we have made, and we thank them for coming on board for the ride. We welcome the opportunity for that window to be expanded. As we know it will only serve to enhance the experience of seeing Horizon 2. Kevin Costner says, I know they say I've got $20 million of my own money in this movie. It's not true. I've got now about $38 million in the film. That's the truth. That's the real number at 18. I've lived with movies and what happens to them on their opening weekends. If we put so much pressure on that, we're bound to be disappointed. I'm really happy that Horizon looks like what it's supposed to look like, and that's the way it'll look like the rest of its life. And that's really important to me in this process. What's interesting to note is that within the first week of being released on video on demand at $19.99 a pop, is that it came in at number 1 on both iTunes and Fandango at home. And RIP to Fandango, I think CEO.
And all of them, yes.
Because he died. Yes.
All I have to say on this whole matter is you sound more like the executives than Mark ever did.
Oh, wow. Well, thank
There
you.
you go.
So, what do we think about this, guys? What's on the horizon for Horizon?
That basically means we didn't make as much money off the first one as we thought we would, so we're going to delay releasing the second one until we find a way to recoup our losses.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. All right.
And that couldn't have been said any better. Hassan, thank you.
Well, I wish them well. I did
don't.
not even know about Horizon 1. I can't talk about Horizon 2.
Yeah.
I can talk about colonoscopies, though, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah. Isn't Horizon a butter or something like that or something?
On the
Is it?
horizon,
Yeah.
there will be sun. There will be sun. You know that song?
Sun on the horizon.
I just made it up, so I don't think
Yeah,
you should.
sun on the horizon and I don't know what. Forget it.
Well, yeah, well, I guess we'll find out what's on the horizon for Horizon 1 and Horizon 2. Moving on from the What Bullets department. None other than Alec Baldwin has had his manslaughter case against him for shooting cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust in 2021 dismissed with prejudice due to the prosecutors for failing to turn over a batch of bullets to the defense. The judge says, the state is highly culpable for its failure to provide discovery to the defendant. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted. Turns out that the defense argued that prosecutors deliberately hid bullets that were turned over to investigators in March by putting them under a different case number, which would be the case of the other person accused of shooting Helena, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the film's armorer. Prosecutor says, I'm disappointed because I believe that the importance of the evidence was misconstrued by the defense attorneys. We did everything humanly possible to bring justice to Helena and to her family, and we're proud of the work that we did. See.
I'm telling you, it's this lady, this mother, this amazing talent loses her life, and a case is dismissed. A blatant case is dismissed because of a little niche in the law. not in the niche of what happened, but a niche in the law.
Mhm.
So a case is dismissed, but a person still loses their life. Amazing.
Well, I mean, regardless of what happens with the case, we can't bring her back.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless the case does things that I don't know about. So, I mean, what were they hoping for? A lot of money? Were they hoping to imprison Alec Baldwin?
Justice. I mean,
How, though? How do you get justice for this?
it's just, you know, when you have somebody hurt a member of your family, you want to see him brought to a certain justice. My family is a different kind of justice.
Yeah.
You know, Louisville Slugger justice, but I mean, other
Yeah.
people are not as.
Well, let's talk about that,
The
especially since we
Louisville
have extra
Slugger
time.
justice.
Yeah, like if this was your family and your daughter was shot by Alec Baldwin by a mistake, same exact situation.
Oh, that's what they said.
What would
but-
you do?
Well, given the fact that he was fooling around on the, you know, like.
He was, right?
Yeah, and he pointed to, what would I do?
Yeah.
Well, I would actually, this is what I would do.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I would actually not press charges, and when he walked out of the courthouse, I would cause him as much pain as I possibly can.
Like needles, but needles.
No, Louisville Slugger. As
hit
we were
him?
talking, Louisville.
Okay.
I wouldn't kill him because I'm Catholic, and that's one of our commandments. Thou shalt not
You could
kill.
throw glue on him,
Right, but I
and then a bunch
would
of
make
glitter.
him. You know, I would make him crawl for the rest of his life.
You'd make him crawl for the rest of his
Yeah,
life. So maybe like take out his knees or something like that.
yeah.
Okay.
The views of this radio station.
Hassan, what are your thoughts on all this? What should
I
happen?
have thoughts about any of this stuff.
You don't.
I think. I mean, it's an absolute tragedy. I think the whole thing is a tragedy.
Mhm.
The whole thing, the death, the trial that followed, the tampering with evidence or the not tampering with evidence or the legal complication. I mean, all of it is a travesty. It's a I don't know. I mean, it all should have been done better than this.
Yep.
All the way up to and including the accident in and of itself. You shouldn't, to make a movie, you shouldn't walk on a movie set and get shot. That should just never happen.
Yeah, you're right.
And
You're
how
right.
many stars
Probably
had
not.
their life ended like that, fooling around with a gun? Like,
Quite a few.
yeah, quite a few. Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. There was a couple.
Brandon Lee.
Brendan Lee. There was a couple of up and coming stars.
Right.
And I remember this one guy. He was very handsome, and he was fooling around with a gun and shot himself in the head.
Jeez.
And just two off the top, you know.
Yikes. Well, from the producer standpoint, I'm kind of happy that this got thrown out because, you
Yeah.
know, as the producer, you know, I was sweating, my palms were
Let
sweating.
me just state this fact. Of course, I was kidding about that whole thing. That
Right,
was
right.
like almost a Starsky and Hutch episode where the guy knew the guy was going to get off for the crime.
Right.
So he didn't press charges. When the guy walked out of the police station, he shot him with a .45 Magnum.
This was a real,
No, this is a Starsky and Hutch
yeah,
episode.
this was a real episode.
So
And
I enjoyed that. That's why I
Starsky and Hutch was based on, I want to say, a man who records his show at WGBB, Lou Teleno. I want to say it's called Streetwise, I want to say. And I don't know if he was Starsky or Hutch, but it was based off of him and his partner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he records his show here.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
There you go.
It all comes back to us.
Yes.
It all rhymes.
Yeah.
All the souls.
Moving
It all
on.
circles back to WGBB.
It all comes back to WGBB. What would WGBB do?
WGBB, where good broadcasting begins.
That's right. Speaking of, we're going to move on to the next segment. From the apparently this is how we do it now department, none other than Nielsen has released its numbers for viewership for June, and it turns out that the streaming has a new record over traditional TV cable. Over 40.3% now watch streaming as opposed to the 40.1% for cable and TV. There's a 0.2% more on the streaming. On top of that, Out of the 40.3%, the streaming numbers break down as follows: YouTube 9.9%, Netflix 8.4%, Other 6%, Amazon 3.1%, Hulu 3%, Disney 2%, Tubi 2%, Roku 1.5%, Max 1.4%, Peacock 1.2%, Paramount 1.1%, and Pluto, I've never heard of that one, sorry,
Oh, Pluto.
0.8%. So yeah, streaming is now beating out cable TV.
Imagine getting beat out by Other, though. That's rough.
Yeah, what is Other like?
If you're a name product and you get beat out by Other in the scale, that's hard on the ego.
Could that be porn? Other? Could it be porn streaming
Well, it's
services?
probably the other superfluous streaming services.
Also,
Some
Nielsen
other service.
Nielsen doesn't concern itself with porn. It's not included in the ratings. I don't know. A genuine question.
Can you stream porn? I don't even know if that's.
Yeah, I don't even know.
If you can stream it.
I don't know. Yeah,
There
you're,
you go. See?
I wouldn't
You don't
know.
know the answer.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
actually don't have the answer to that.
I don't.
Because I have a lot of streaming thing. I do a lot of streaming, and I'll tell you why. Because cable networks,
Right?
they're getting out of hand with the commercials. They are going mad. If I'm watching two shows at the same time, like I'll switch from the commercials are on at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000,000 30-second slots. And you know they're coming back to the show when they're doing a promo of their network,
Right.
a show on their network. But until they get to that, now the streaming I watch, I only have two that's commercial free, but the others, Tubi is
Right.
commercials, but not as nearly as much. Maybe about I don't know. I don't know. Just
A quarter.
yeah. It's no maybe two commercials, longest three, and then you're back to the show.
All right, so the number's 40.3% now versus 40.1. What do you guys think the numbers are going to be in 2025? Probably more streaming, I'm guessing.
Streaming? I think streaming is going to be
It'll
higher.
probably be like 41, 42, 43.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
streaming's going to be high.
Could be. It could spike.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
yeah.
Yeah, cable, I don't know. And a lot of comedians say they don't even care about going on like Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, these late night spots that used to make your career. Because it's like, who's really watching cable or TV? It doesn't make or break you the way it used to.
It's
Spots on YouTube. You'll
Yeah.
get more exposure.
there's very few fabulous programs on anymore. There's just a handful of them, and hopefully Tulsa King
Huh.
could bring back some TV watchers.
Tulsa King?
They brought it back actually to a network.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, so
No, that was who is that? That's Sylvester Stallone.
yes, yeah, and he was on a streaming. I think it's Paramount streaming network. I'm not sure, but they brought him right to the network, like they did to Yellowstone. You know, so they get you interested in it, and then they throw it back to stream. But I think this is for the long run.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Yeah, so with a handful of programs, you're not going to stop people from looking streaming.
No, can't stop streaming. I think
Can't
it's
stop streaming.
can't stop. And for our last segment of the day, from the Wheel Keeps on Turning follow-up department, none other than ABC announced that despite retiring, Pat Sajak will be the host of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, which will air on Mondays when they don't have a Monday night football game. As previously mentioned on our show, Ryan Seacrest is the new host. Pat will stay on as a consultant, with Vanna White remaining on the air for at least another 2 years.
Vanna White, you know why she got hired?
No.
Merv Griffin loved the way she turned the letters around. Could you
I think
imagine?
you told me this. It
Yeah.
sounds familiar, right?
That's it. Well, she'll tell you. That's Merv, just like the way she
she
turned the
those
letters around. Yeah.
I wonder who her competition was.
Don't know.
Some other girl who turned letters.
But not as well as Vanna.
maybe
Yeah.
like fumbled.
Yeah. Vanna sachets over to the leathers, you know, and she seems to know, like, she's perfection turning those letters.
Maybe they could have like a competing show called like Wheel of Poverty, like the opposite of Wheel of Fortune, and you can guess on
Yeah.
what the rents is in New York City, like
Yeah.
different New York City locations.
Slumlords. Yeah.
Yeah, and Wheel of Poverty, you have to throw rocks to turn the letter.
Yeah.
So, doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so we only have about a minute left? 2 minutes left of the show, or 2 minutes left. We've got through all the segments. Hassan, I'm going to throw it back to you since I haven't talked to you in so long. What's been going on? What's on your mind, Hassan?
What's on my mind?
Yeah.
I think, in general, I do have a thought.
Yeah.
I think we're paying way too much for way too little that takes way too long to get here. That's my thought about streaming.
Oh, sure. And everything.
Way too little.
Yeah.
Way too much for way too little. Yeah, that's how a lot of. I felt like that in one of my marriages. Paid way too much to get way too little.
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Season of Stranger Things. We're waiting 2.5 years for 8 episodes. It's ridiculous. And all of streaming is like that. So streaming was a mistake. We should rethink it. That's my thought.
It's a mistake.
As
And we should go back to
Johnny-
cable?
Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard that request. Have you, Charlie?
You know why?
Never.
Cable had shows that came on every year.
Got it.
So, there you go. Sorry. I'm old.
You're old.
I get to do things.
He's old. Yeah.
Oh.
And I would just like to say, it's been a pleasure sitting across from Arjen. And
thank you.
she just did a hell of a job. Mark, stay home next week. And no, just kidding.
Yeah, I can mispronounce our
You're
sponsors.
you did a hell of a job.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, Big Apple Con. I call them the Big Apple Comic Con. And we're going to wrap it up. Everyone floss your teeth. Make sure you treat everyone well. You have no regrets when you pass. And that's my final thought.
That's it. And just be nice to everybody. Like Jen said, it costs nothing in this expensive world. And that's it. Peace,
The
love,
views
and
expressed in
happiness.
the previous program did not necessarily represent those of the staff,
Yes,
management, or
especially
owners of
mine.
WGBB.
Awesome.
The views expressed in
Beautiful.
the
All
following
right, I
Jen,
gotta head out
go.
right now.
necessarily represent those
I gotta
of
head
No,
back
it was
to
great
Smithtown.
seeing you.
Good to
Good
see you too. I'm
job.
glad you're here. I was
And
like really
cool.
not
And,
happy about your.
This is
When you get a chance, let me know where you